My name is Debbie Ziegelmeyer. I've been an independent field investigator for probably, UFO field investigator for probably 25 years. I've been a MUFON investigator since 2002. I'm currently the MUFON Missouri State Director, and I'm also on the MUFON Business Board of Directors. I'm a small business owner, and so when I finally get time on the weekends to do something recreational, I decided that the best place to be, especially in Missouri since it's so hot and humid, is to be in the water. So a few years ago, I took up scuba diving, and me, with the A-type personality that I have, I wasn't satisfied just to be a recreational scuba diver. I kept going until I became a scuba instructor. So being a scuba instructor and knowing all that's going on underwater, all of our limitations, made me start to think about the UFO-related sightings that are, well, actually 1 in 5 UFO sightings are water-related. So I started putting my knowledge and my research of UFOs along with my knowledge of underwater and our limitations that I teach as a scuba instructor, and I decided that something wasn't right. There's a lot of craft that are seen, UFOs that are seen coming in and out of the water, and it seems like they go in and out of the water with ease. We also have reports of craft that are traveling underwater, yet that as a scuba instructor, I realized that there's an incredible amount of pressure involved with depth in water. And as an instructor, I'm also limited to 130 feet of recreation, and these things are going extremely deep and extremely fast. So I started doing research in the last few years to find out what our human limitations are as far as submarines and scuba divers, tech divers, and underwater bases, and found that we actually do have military underwater bases, and what are beyond our limitations. And I found a lot of very interesting facts. I found out that we've been underwater since, I believe, 1963 in research labs, underwater oceanic research labs. And our military, I found a document stating that we were building underwater bases that were capable of people living in extended periods of time in one atmosphere conditions, which one atmosphere is what we breathe, for extended periods of time. And this was back in 1966. So you can just imagine what we have today that's underwater, that's hidden. But there's still craft that are coming in and out of the water at high rates of speed. And if you've ever seen a video of a plane crash, which there are videos of plane crashes now into the water, you notice that our aircraft and the water are not a friendly combination. What happens is when that craft hits the water, it's like hitting a concrete wall and it breaks up. Yet we have several videos of submitted by witnesses of craft, and then lately too been submitted by military, of craft coming in and out of the water with ease. I started wondering how these craft are able to come in and out of the water and in and out of our atmosphere with ease. And as a child, I lived in southern Arizona, and there were a lot of experimental craft that were either from Nevada or maybe from Tucson. I found out later there was a base in Tucson. But these craft would come low across the sky, and there were always these sonic booms. And if most people my age remember growing up with sonic booms, well, you really don't hear sonic booms anymore, but that's breaking the sound barrier at a low altitude. Yet these craft are being reported by witnesses that are zipping across the sky. I believe it was Kenneth Arnold said that it was that the craft that he saw that was June 25th, 1947, just a few days prior to the Roswell crash of 1947, and this was at Mount Rainier, that these craft were zipping across the sky and they were doing well over 1,000 miles an hour without a sonic boom. Now you also have craft that are coming in and out of the water, and they're doing it with ease. They're traveling through the water at a high rate of speed. This has been reported by sonar operators that I have at least 2 witnesses that have told me that they were in the area of a submarine next to the sonar operator because they were seasick. And apparently that's the place to go if you get seasickness on a submarine. And they saw what they referred to as fast movers, something that comes across the sonar screen at such a fast rate of speed that it's faster than anything we have. It's definitely not a whale or a fish, and it's not a missile. It's something that's coming across fast and going very fast. So they are referred to as fast movers. So I started thinking, what is it that's causing these things to adapt to our harsh environment, our pressure of our oceans, and the vacuum of space, and coming across our sky without a sonic boom at high rates of speed. As an investigator, one of the first things we ask is about electromagnetic field, EMF. And this EMF field that's reported when craft are seen is something that, as the craft goes over, the lights will blink around the town, around the house, street lights, dusk to dawn lights, the people's house, maybe their car radio will go out. If you watch the movie Close Encounters, and Roy was out there trying to figure out why all the electric went out in the movie, and the mailboxes were shaking back and forth, and he looked up and his face was burned. I mean, this was all these reactions were the electromagnetic field. So all of these craft that are reported, maybe not all of them, but a very good portion of them, have some type of an electromagnetic field around them. This electromagnetic field is around the craft, and so it's protecting it. And as they're coming in and out of our atmosphere, they're never touching our atmosphere. They're protected by this field, which is basically, I guess it's basically a protection, a dome-like protection. So as they hit the water, the craft isn't touching the water, it's being protected by this shield. And as they go through the water, this shield of energy is causing them to be able to transport through the water or travel through the water at a high rate of speed, never affecting the craft. So I thought, okay, well, there's craft that are seen in the water. 1 in 5 UFO sightings are water related. So I started thinking, well, what are they looking for? What are they down there for? Well, a lot of times they're down there for an extended period of time, which means there's some type of a base, or maybe a portal that's underwater they're traveling in and out of. Maybe they're hiding, but sometimes there's a craft that's just over the water and they're filtering something up. We have pictures of craft that have been submitted that are hovering over the water, and there's something that's coming up, water coming up and then back down. Reports of craft underwater that are sucking up something. So I thought, as a dive instructor, I thought, well, our atmosphere is 79% nitrogen, 1% oxygen. So what is it about water? And I thought, oh, H2O, hydrogen and oxygen. So I started doing research on hydrogen, and I found that hydrogen is the fuel that was used in the shuttles, and NASA uses it in a lot of their rockets. Why? Because hydrogen is a clean form of energy. It's non-pollutant. You can develop, NASA has developed hydrogen cells like your car battery, only they're hydrogen cells. And these cells, like a car battery that can be recharged, these hydrogen cells can be replenished. So I thought, that's got to be it. These craft are going underwater, and when whatever it is that they're sucking up hydrogen, which may or may not be, but it seems pretty logical. They're sucking up the hydrogen to replenish their electromagnetic field that's protecting their craft. One would wonder why you would have a base underwater. There's been a lot of reports, speculation, witness reports, especially at the MUFON Symposium in 2017, talking about bases on Mars and possible bases on the moon, alien craft, and our own bases. But underwater is a fantastic place to hide. there could have been and may have been bases underwater. So if you're an alien race and you want to come and visit the Earth, where would you go and be able to hide without anybody coming upon you, staying there for an unlimited amount of time? If you're traveling through space, you're also able to travel. They are capable of traveling through the water. We have reports back predating Columbus of craft. I think the oldest one I found was at 1067 of a UFO sighting coming in and out of the water. So this has been going on for a very, very long time. Perfect place to hide. If you want to observe somebody on this landmass, where's the best place to hide? You hide underwater right near the landmass. No one's going to accidentally run into you. No one's going to accidentally, all of a sudden here you are and these people are in a panic. It's a good place to hide, a good place to set up your base. So the probability of an underwater base is a very good one. Also, if you have a stationary base underwater, you can disperse your craft from this base in and out and do your research. But that way you've got one stationary place where you can do your research and you don't have to keep coming in and out of our atmosphere. So let's say you have a base on the moon. Okay, every time you want to come and observe or replenish your hydrogen or take water or replenish gold. Now, a lot of researchers have speculated that, I guess because of microchips, and we're using a lot of gold and that type of thing. Microchips, it's in phones, that gold is something else that's being harvested from Earth. But every time somebody or someone, some creature or some being comes from another planet and wants to take one of our resources or observe us or do whatever it is that they have in mind, they have to come through the sky into our atmosphere. And now more and more, there's radar, there's planes, there's people with cell phones. It's a lot easier to be detected coming in and out. So if you want to try and stay hidden for a lot longer, it makes more sense to try and put a base underwater. You can kind of zip in and out of the water, go back underwater, and stay undetected. It just makes a lot of sense. It's a great place to hide. You can't be picked up by satellites either. You can say, well, okay, let's just take an alien base and let's just put it on the moon. Well, I have a telescope and I can see the moon. I have a 10-inch Schmidt-Cassegrain telescope in my backyard, and I was asked if I looked at the moon during the eclipse, because the eclipse went right almost directly over my house last year when we had the eclipse over the United States. And I said, well, no, my telescope is so powerful I can only see 1/12 of the moon at a time. So, and that's only a 10-inch. There are amateur astronomers out there with way, way more than that. So it doesn't make sense to hide something in plain view. Also, our satellites. They'll say, well, why don't these aliens just go out in the middle of the desert where there's nobody out there, or go to the top of a mountain? Because our satellites can pick all that up. So where do you hide? You hide underwater. You can't pick that up. To a certain extent, there are some anomalies that are being picked up by Google Earth that we have seen, because they're at fairly shallow water. But you go really, really deep, they're obviously able to handle the pressure of water and the vacuum of space and travel in between the two with ease. That's a place to hide, the smart place to hide. When people think UFOs, they look up. There's a lot of sky watchers, sky watching groups. People go outside sometimes and say, I'm going to go out and I'm going to see this great sky and I'm just going to look for UFOs. And granted, they do see things. I live out in an area where I have gone up and I've seen something that's unexplained. But if you really want to find out what's going on, you really want to see what's being hidden from us, not only by our government, other governments, maybe combined alien government technology, alien government bases, the place to look is underwater. Only 5% of our oceans have been explored. 5%. We're called the blue planet. There's 70% of our planet is water. and 5% has been explored. So this is the place we should be looking. While everybody is looking up, everything is being hidden beneath the seas, beneath the oceans and beneath our seas. And I've decided that I'm going to spill the beans on this. I'm going to get everybody looking in the right place, because it's about time we started thinking more about what's going on underwater and a little bit less about what's going on above.